This is a film about the great educational drama that has taken place in the last decade at 180 Wizo daycare centres. This is the story of one of these centres that takes care of children from the newly born to 4 years of age, in a country in which the compulsory education law only applies from the age of 4. This is also the story of the struggle for identity of a nation that strives for true integration, absorption of immigrants, and a better and more secure future for all. Many destinies, one song. A mother and daughter from Ethiopia, Zania and Bosna, both of whom have babies the same age, in the same centre. Lillian, a single parent, is raising Daniel and Adiel. Yochevet, who lost everything she possessed, arrived on the brink of starvation. 2 of her children are in a Wizo daycare centre. Avshalom has 8 children. Thanks to the Wizo centre, he and his wife are able to go out to work. Natalie came from Leningrad 7 months ago. Now that her son Pavel is in the daycare centre, she can go out to work. Navit is a deaf and dumb mother. She's raising Yaniv without being able to hear him. The centre has changed their lives. Shaul, an army officer, can serve with a quiet mind, knowing that on the home front his son is safe and secure. We shall meet all these families and many others at one of the Wizo daycare centres today, in Kfar Gvirol, a neighbourhood renewal project near Rehovot. We invite you to spend a day at the centre, from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. The clock shows 7 o'clock. The parents are bringing their children. 7 a.m., the 120 children begin to arrive. On their way to the Hebrew Ulpan at a nearby kibbutz, the Ethiopian parents, new immigrants, drop off their children. The daycare centre is a whole new world for them. The change is traumatic. They've come from remote villages with a very different culture, way of life, and no professions. A great deal of love. The parents hand over their children with a smile, and the nursery nurses and teachers receive them with a smile. For the Ethiopian mothers, who've been used to carrying their babies with them on their backs throughout the day, the parting is accompanied by concern. The transition is sharp. For the immigrants, from Ethiopia and Russia, special programs have been prepared for both parents and children. In fact, the entire family undergoes absorption at the daycare centre, with the children receiving continuous care, and their parents benefiting from special assistance that facilitates their absorption. The daycare centre in this case provides a service not furnished by the state, either to new immigrants or veterans. First thing upon arriving in the morning, some of the children need to be washed. Elmo has quickly learnt to love his morning shower that cradles him in both warm water and his nurse's affection. Personal hygiene is taught through games. Yarus and Hila are playing. Their nurse Edna emigrated from Ethiopia with Operation Solomon and received her training at a Wizo centre. She knows how difficult the absorption process is and, like all the staff, does her utmost to make it easy for the children. It's not quite 7:30 and the centre is already a hive of activity. Only Dana is still sleeping in the arms of Basana, her 18-year-old mother. Dana has development problems. The centre hopes to help her overcome them and fulfill her true potential. I'm happy to be here, and so is my daughter. But because she doesn't feel well, neither do I.
סנתה מתון.
כן.
ואת?
אני 18.
The clock shows 7:30. The stream of children arriving increases as it gets closer to the time for their parents to begin work. Mothers are free to take jobs and thus contribute to the family finances or to develop an independent career, thanks to the daycare centre that provides a caring framework for their children. Avshalom and his wife support 8 children, 4 of whom are at the centre. Amos, Yehuda, Chaim, Eli and the girl will go to the centre next year. What does the Wizo Centre give you? It gives us a lot, a second home for the children. The Wizo Centre lets mothers go out to do a full day's work. This is a very nice centre and I know that my daughter has a warm home here. Pavel chooses his breakfast from the buffet selection. The children receive 3 meals a day. The food is nutritious and balanced under the supervision of nutritional experts. At a nearby table, Navit and her husband Shlomo, the deaf and dumb parents, are feeding their son Yaniv. The parents can't hear Yaniv and he can't understand their distorted speech. The centre has transformed all their lives by giving Yaniv a chance to learn to communicate with a different environment and to learn all those things that his parents are unable to teach him. We didn't know what to tell him, how to play with him, what to talk to him about. We also didn't understand him. As the nursery teachers can understand what he says, they teach him and he tells us about it at home. New things. It's very interesting. Once he didn't sleep at all at night, but nowadays he sleeps well and is much calmer at home and not so nervous, not like he used to be. He was so nervous, he'd go crazy, we didn't know what to do with him. The centre really has changed our lives. The clock shows 8:45. Learning to recognize the written word. Russian, Ethiopian and Israeli children alike learn to read together. They'll all start school with equal knowledge. Every activity carried out at the centre is directed at advancing the children's progress. This is not just any centre. It provides an educational framework long before compulsory education begins. The children learn in small groups through methods that stimulate their curiosity and develop their knowledge. After time spent in gaining hands-on experience, the methodical study begins.
Bim bam bam. Скажи, тирас хам, тирас хам, bim bam bam.
New smells, colours and tastes. A didactic story, followed by its practical application. Coordination, motor activity, a total ingathering of the exiles, or, if you prefer, this is the movement for immigrant absorption. Dana gets up. She receives personal attention. All her potential abilities will be developed. The nurses have been trained in helping children with disabilities, and they're backed by a large team of specialists. The absorption into the centre of problematic children is undertaken in the firm belief that they should be brought up in a normal, healthy environment, to which they too contribute. Dana gets up. The miracle takes place before our eyes. The groups of children participate in many different activities, running simultaneously, inside in the study areas and outside in the well-developed yard. They're building a golden bridge between the children and their life in Israel. Pavel's big smile is a sign of success. His mother, Natalie, still in Russian, is delighted. I'm very satisfied, and so is Pavel. All the nurses and teachers love him and are happy when he arrives. I'm happy too, and so we're lucky with our absorption in Israel. A gentle guidance of the fingers, getting to know the colours and shapes. Creative activities that stimulate the imagination and the brain. The success of the future generation lies in the education that it receives today. That has been the guiding line for the Wizo daycare centres over the last decade. The parents are sometimes invited to participate in the children's activities, to contribute their own part. The centre and its staff are in close contact with the families and the community in which they live. Navit, a graphic artist, is drawing with the children. Sion brought his little daughter Chen to the centre when she was only 2 months old. Since giving birth, Chen's mother has had difficulty in functioning properly, and Sion has been forced to take care of his 2 daughters by himself. I put Chen into the daycare centre when she was 16 months old, and Yasmin when she was 2 months old. I think that she was the youngest child to go to Wizo. Comparing the development of the 2 children, I can see that what Yasmin knew at the age of 16 months, Chen only knew when she was 2 years old. I think that all the children in the country should be placed in Wizo centres from the age of 2 months. Complete social integration, expressed through a traditional Ethiopian dance created by movement of the shoulders. Which of the performers here are Israeli born? Which are from Russia or Ethiopia? And who cares? It's 12 o'clock, lunchtime. Outside in the yard, Yocheved and Hassan are building a sandcastle. This is all they can manage to do. Because of financial difficulties, their apartment has been sold. The 4 children, mother and father who barely functions, all live in one small room, without a kitchen, a stove, or even money for food. I've nothing to eat at home. I stopped using diapers for him because I didn't have any. At the centre they give him diapers. They give him 3 meals a day, including a hot meal at lunchtime. The children sleep in the afternoon and shower here as well. Without the centre, I'd be in a terrible state. Yocheved's children, like all the others, eat lunch cooked in the centre's kitchen. A homemade taste and a warm, motherly approach. All the infants are fed according to their individual needs. The time is 12:30. Lillian has 2 children at the centre. Adiel is 4 and Daniel is a baby. She's bringing them up by herself, supporting them alone. I don't have any family. I live alone in the village. I'm a single parent. I have 2 children who are both in the Wizo daycare centre. This allows me to go out to work. The children have friends in the centre. They learn things. Both my son and my daughter very quickly learned to talk. The time is 2:30. The study activities continue throughout the day. Even the games played stimulate the children's interest, teach them how to buy, how to sell, how much something costs, how to add up. The motor sensory unit in each centre comprises a combination of apparatus that stimulates and encourages the children to explore movement and feeling. The nursery teachers all undergo special training. The diagnostic, therapeutic and enrichment value of this activity is immeasurable. Through observation of the children, the nursery nurse can uncover problems in their early stages and direct them to the appropriate professional care. The activity enables the development of cognitive skills that bear a direct relationship on how the children continue to acquire knowledge in the future and their subsequent success in their studies. It enables the nurturing and development of the child's image of himself and his own body, and a better integration between all the child's different abilities. For the new immigrant children, this is a wonderful way to communicate non-verbally with the other children. Today, instead of going home, the parents and children are staying behind to participate in a common activity. The link between the centre and home is constantly encouraged. This is an opportunity for a shared experience between parent and child, between the immigrants from different countries, between newcomers and old-timers. Here we find the social and educational integration that provides the only true answer to the social and national problems of the state. The Wizo daycare centre in Kvar has been running for 3 years. It takes in 120 children, of whom 42 are new immigrants. It includes children from stable families and those on social security, children from one-parent homes, and children at risk whose families have ceased to function, as well as children from normal families with working mothers. This centre is a reflection of all the other Wizo daycare centres. 14,000 children up to the age of 4 are taken care of each day at 180 Wizo daycare centres throughout the country. At Kvar there are 25 nursery nurses and a huge amount of love. Full professional backup is provided by experts in their respective fields, for this is the only way to provide educational and caretaking services and to bring about the hoped-for miracle, a solid edifice built upon a firm foundation. It's time to go home. Another day at the centre has gone by. Tomorrow morning, at exactly 7 o'clock, the children will return once more to their nursery school. The time is 4 p.m. However, as evening falls, some of the children from broken homes are still playing. The pedagogic poem continues into the night. The centre will lovingly go on caring for them and enriching their world until 7 o'clock in the evening. Only then will they at last go home, after an evening meal, a warm shower, ready for bed. They are called children at risk. For these children, their parents and home environment pose a threat, and only the long day at the Wizo daycare centre prevents a court order sending them to live in institutions far from their own homes and the neighbourhoods in which they grew up. The long day is over at the Wizo daycare centre. That is also a home away from home. Wizo is for everyone. Wizo is for life.
אמא של כולם כל כך לבד הייתי לקחת אותי אלייך, אליי, חייכו עינייך, חלפו עברו הלילות הקרים, הימים הזרים נהיו חברים. אמא, אמא, אמא של כולם, כל כך לבד היינו בעולם, בימים של רעב ומחסור, לילות של זעם ומרור, סינור לבן ויד אוהבת, מרפא לנפש הכואבת. אמא, אמא, אמא של כולם, כבר לא לבד אנחנו בעולם. אני, אתה ואחרים, אלפי בתים הרבה שנים, זוכרים תודה ולך שרים. אמא, כל החיים